And hello again, everyone. Just a reminder that our final project stuff is coming up. So, when I say our final project stuff, our presentation and our poster, those are due week 9. And then at the end of the term, our final project paper is due. So, in the past, in week 2, there were examples of posters that were shown. So, please look back at those as potential examples to inform what you're doing. And I also gave an example of a presentation. So, what we're looking for in that 10 minutes or less. And it should be 8 to 10 minutes because we're trying to model something that would be like a platform presentation. You don't have a lot of time. Again, week 9, this is old information here. These dates are incorrect. I think it's October 23rd through October 29th. I think that is the last week. This is last year stuff. So don't go by these dates, but basically October 9th, or excuse me, week 9 is when your poster and presentations are due at the end of that week. Final projects is due again also at the end of the term. Again, don't go by these notes here because these dates are off. So look at Canvas. That will show you the correct final project dates. Also, I want to provide the opportunity to you if you want to have your paper reviewed prior to turning it in. I'm happy to do that to provide any feedback. That way you can work towards getting the best score possible because we don't want to have grammar errors, punctuation errors, things like that, or if there's been anything that's been omitted. Final project guidelines, you're going to write an introduction and a methods section for an epidemiologic study. Your introduction section is going to be 2 to 3 paragraphs because this is where you're going to be setting the stage, describing why your study is needed. The methods section is shown here. You're going to be having these topic areas, subjects, and the setting in which your study is going to occur and who is going to be involved, your procedures and measures, and data collection. And then your statistical analysis section will also be kind of a subheading within the method section. And what I want you to write about here is what relationships you're going to explore. Is this a prevalence, incidence type of study, or is it a cohort or case control? Now, again, incidence gives us, a cohort study also gives us incidence, but you can do a straight incidence study where you're looking at rates of something. Maybe within your discipline, the rates of X, Y, and Z is unknown. That could be good enough in and of itself. A cohort study oftentimes is now looking at incidence plus also risk factor information. Write a few sentences to a paragraph describing what you want to analyze. So, what are the statistical relationships? Final part of the paper, references. So during the paper, superscript your reference numbers, and then in your reference section, use AMA format. So for example, AMA format is shown below here. And if you have questions about AMA format, you can click on that link. But it's basically the last name and initials of the different authors, the title of the article, the italicized abbreviated version of the journal, the year, semicolon, the volume and issue, and then the page numbers. So grading, 5 points can be deducted based upon the frequency of grammar, spelling, and punctuation errors. 5 points for making sure that you have an introduction which describes the problem. And if you have challenges thinking about what you might write, go to any epidemiologic paper that we've got throughout the term and look at how they have developed their explanation in this section. Oftentimes, what I do is in the first paragraph, I'll try to illustrate the problem. So if I'm working with athletes or if I'm interested in studying athletes, I might highlight that there is injuries that occur in that particular sport and that reducing injuries can have then a potential positive effect. I might then write in the second paragraph about things that have been done previously especially if I'm doing stuff looking at like functional performance tests, what has been done previously or reported previously in the literature, and were those efforts successful or were they not successful? And I don't say that they're successful or not. I would just state that this was done and no association was found between preseason testing and injury risk. And so basically going on then to highlight that future research is warranted to address current limitations in our understanding. And then the final paragraph, I'm going to be then presenting the purpose of the study. And within that purpose, wanting to then propose a hypothesis and my then null hypothesis, what I think is going to occur. Not my null. I usually do the alternate hypothesis. Most people don't do the null. So, for example, I might say something that it is hypothesized that athletes with a lower agility score on this test would be at greater risk of injury. So 5 points for your basic formatting with superscripting and references, having that reference section at the end, and 10 points for detailing your methodology section. There is also a final project example that you'll find in week 7, so you can see how somebody else wrote up their assignment for this class. So that can also help to inform and guide you too. And I'm also available anytime to answer questions and to help you with this process.